Genesis chapter 22. And it came to be after these events that Elohim tried Abraham, and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Take your son now, your only son Yitzhak, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains which I command you. And Abraham rose early in the morning, and saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Yitzhak his son. And he split the wood for the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And on the 3rd day Abraham lifted his eyes, and saw the place from a distance. So Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey, while the boy and I go over there and worship, and come back to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Yitzhak his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and the 2 of them went together. And Yitzhak spoke to Abraham his father and said, My father? And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, See the fire of the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, Elohim does provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering. And the 2 of them went together. And they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him, and Abraham built an altar there and placed the wood in order. And he bound Yitzhak his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the messenger of Yah called to him from the heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham! And he said, Here I am. And he said, Do not lay your hand on the boy, nor touch him. For now I know that you fear Elohim, seeing that you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and saw behind him a ram caught in a bush by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up for a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of the place Yah Yireh. And it is said to this day, On the mountain Yah provides. And the messenger of Yah called to Abraham a second time from the heavens and said, By myself I have sworn, declares Yah, because you have done this, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that I shall certainly bless you, and I shall certainly increase your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand which is on the seashore. And let your seed possess the gate of their enemies. And in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. And Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to be after these events that it was reported to Abraham, saying, See, Milcah too has borne children to your brother Nahor. Uts his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram, and Kesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Nildaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel brought forth Ribkah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, also bore Tebah, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maachah.